with stand-up paddle and sail, and I just want to talk a little bit about what this company is about, why I'm doing what I'm doing. I recently read a prominent yoga teacher say that yoga is the practice of balance, and having a lifelong experience in board sports, I find that it's a perfect tool for cultivating balance. Um, if we look at just what balance is, it's holding our center as the world comes by, as things move past, as we face change. Can we hold that center, or will we fall off? Where's our momentum? Is our momentum for holding a solid posture, staying on the board in the present moment, or do we get carried away with thought and gain momentum to the point where we fall off? And where I speak about this as a body-mind type of thing is through an awareness over the past few years of how few people have displaced their whole body weight on a single surface. So that's really what this is about, is to encourage people to get an experience of what it's like to displace their body on a single surface. Lately I found that stand-up paddleboard is perhaps one of the more versatile, accessible instruments for this, since most people can find success and stability with it. So sometimes water's not always available. We do have a wonderful company, the Indo board, which would allow you to do this without water. So you could have your roller and your board, and you step on the lower part and then just displace more body weight up onto the board. And by exerting more weight on one leg or the other, you can balance and cultivate your balance. So as you put more weight on the right foot, you go to the right, more on the left. So you're really getting a sense of movement and how to move your feet around on a board. Proves very helpful as far as your capacity to move around on the board, which is what we need to do. In a moving world, we need to be able to move around on it. So these tools are ideal for practicing that sense of balance, for cultivating balance, even before we get into paddling technique. What I have my students do is go out without the paddle and then learn how to get on the board and just allow the body to receive that information without getting carried away with thoughts of, did I do good, did I do bad, will I fall, will I not fall? Because we know that when we set the intention to holding balance, we've really created a positive momentum. But as soon as we start anticipating that something will go wrong, that you may fall off, you set that wheel of momentum in motion, and more than likely you will fall off. So it's an excellent way to kind of witness how the mind works when we do this. Practically, everyone really would want to cultivate a sense of balance and stability on a moving surface, because that's what life is. Our motto is cultivating stability on an unstable platform. Isn't that life? Things come up. Will we react and go create a mess of things, or can we hold a solid posture, breathe in, absorb things, and then move to the proper action that we need to have that will cause least harm and give a better sense of peace. So I have my students get on a board. Here we can simulate it with the Indo board cushions. We just place on the bottom of the board to take away some of the stability of having it just flat on the board. Students are instructed to mount the board from the side, perpendicular to the board. So you get on the board, perpendicular to it, and with 4 points, the knees and the hands, come to a sense of stability, getting a feel for what it will be like on the water. Once they've done this, now they can move around on the board, move forward, still in a 4-point stance. And at this point, I have them just shuffle forward and back to get a sense of movement on the board in a 4-point stance. Then at the next stage, I have them experiment with a 3-point stance. Just one arm out, maybe one foot back. After they've found out what a 3-point stance is, you can challenge them to a 2-point stance. One arm, one leg back. Alternate sides. And after they've gone through these basic motions, moving on the board, exploring 4-point, 3-point, and 2-point stance, after their minds have shut down all that chatter, and they're just listening to what their body's doing with this information. When they're comfortable and at peace in their mind, I have them move into a typical down dog, a yoga posture, where they just raise their knees up, stretch out their back, stretch out their legs, and then slowly walk their feet towards their hands, with the feet about shoulder width between the hand carry slot. And now you see I'm still in a 4-point stance. At this point, I ask them to drop their bottom a little bit in a forward fold position, and then slowly take pressure off their hands as they slowly come up, knees bent, straight back, a real nice posture where they can now let the body relax into a 2-point stance and find their stability. Once they've taken a few minutes to just kind of get used to this, moving side to side, seeing how that 2-point stance now puts a lot of different pressure on the board, since it's only 2 points instead of 4. And now the hard part is just to move around. There's almost a reptilian thing that happens where people will feel once they're up they don't want to move around on the board. Now you can't walk on the board, because now you would go into a 1-point stance, which is extremely challenging. So I just have them shuffle. Just shuffle the feet forward, always keeping 2 points on the board. But they're shuffling forward, shuffling back. I'm getting a feel for what it's like to have a little movement of their feet on the board.